I know this title might seem a little bit bold, but stick with me. If you've ever felt like a failure because you can't show up to the same way, the same every single day, then this one's for you. I'm so tired of seeing ADHD entrepreneurs beat themselves up over advice that was never designed for your brain. I'm sure you've heard this shit everywhere. Every productivity guru, every business coach, every motivational speaker. And for a lot of you, you torture yourself trying to follow this advice. But when you try to do that, what happens? You feel burned out, you feel like garbage, and even then you still couldn't maintain it. So there is no special key for consistency. And this advice is fundamentally flawed for neurodivergent people. So let's break down what this show up every day advice is actually assuming. It assumes that you wake up roughly with the same capacity each day. That's a neurotypical privilege that a lot of you don't have. Some days I wake up and my brain is firing on all cylinders. Other days I can barely remember what I do for a living. This isn't a weakness. This isn't a lack of discipline. This is neurodivergence. Dopamine, norepinephrine, and executive function literally fluctuate more than neurotypical brains. Let's paint a picture that you probably recognize. Another fun little cycle of the ADHD brain. You commit. You're so determined that this time is going to be different. You show up for 3, 5, maybe even 10 days straight. You're exhausted, but you keep pushing. Then something happens. Maybe it's a bad sensory day. Maybe your executive function crashes. Maybe you just can't anymore. And then the shame hits you really, really hard. I failed again. Everyone else can do this. Why can't I? What's wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you. The system is wrong. And here's what they don't tell you about energy management. Neurotypical people tend to have gentle hills and valleys, just waves. You have fucking mountains and canyons. Some days I can record 3 videos, write 2 email sequences, and create a sales page. Other days, I can barely answer those emails. Both of those are completely valid business days. Let's reclaim the word consistency and make it actually useful. Consistency isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. Sometimes consistency means posting 3 times in 1 week and 1 time the next week, and that's okay. The market doesn't care if you showed up every single day. It cares that you're still here. And when you hit burnout, that's when you're not there anymore. So I'm giving you permission to stop torturing yourself. When I'm in hyper-focus mode, I create an entire month of content. When I'm not, I schedule and rest. Rest is productive. Recovery is necessary. Period. Full stop. When I stopped trying to show up perfectly every day, my business grew because I wasn't burning out every 3 weeks. Okay, so if daily consistency is bullshit, then what do we actually do? Here are some ideas. First up, energy-based batching. I record 4 to 6 YouTube videos in 1 day when I'm in the zone. When I'm on, I just hit it hard. Flexible goal windows. My newsletter goes out once a week through an evergreen sequence, one that I built slowly over the course of the last year. So I know that my people are going to hear from me every single week, but then I add in some time-bound things like summits, sales, things that are like, that needs to happen now. Sometimes that happens once a week, sometimes it happens once a month. And it doesn't matter because I know that I've got that evergreen going out because I did some batching earlier on. Multiple pathways. If you can't write a blog post, maybe record a voice note. Can't do video? Write. Can't write? Use AI to help. There are lots of tools out there to help you get over that hump of what it is that you'd like to be able to accomplish. Minimum viable presence. On low days, I engage with my Facebook group for 10 minutes. That's it. It counts. I go in and I respond to people. I like posts. I let them know that, hey, I'm here. And that's enough. They know that I'm there. So you need to find your patterns and build your systems around them. So let's talk about what actually matters in your business. Nobody's going to buy from you just because you posted every single day for a year. They're going to buy because when they do see your content, it resonates with them. My engagement is higher when I batch and schedule quality content versus forcing something out daily, because when you're forcing it daily, it's just not as good. And here's the thing, when you're not burned out, your content is better anyway. So let's make this practical. Here's your action plan. First up, map your energy. Just notice for a week, when do you naturally have more capacity? We know that it's not going to necessarily be the same every single week. It's not like you're going to say, oh, Mondays are the days, unless they are. But don't count on that. You just want to see, how does your energy naturally flow? Number 2, identify your high energy windows. For me, that's, it runs. It, like, some days it's the weekend, sometimes it's the middle of the week. For me, it does tend to be over the weekends, and it's morning time, even though I'm not a morning person, because my house is quiet and I know that I can get things done. Create batching opportunities. Can you create 3 to 4 pieces of content in one session? If so, what does that look like? Build in buffer and rest time. You need to build in time for you to be able to recuperate and rejuvenate your brain so that you can do that. And then test. This is your ADHD superpower. You're great at experimenting. See what works, try it, decide this worked, this didn't work, and then adjust it as you need it. Make this action plan yours. What works for me probably is not going to work for you, and that's part of the problem all along, is you keep trying to make your life fit into someone else's brilliant plan. So let's address some of the fears that are coming up. But what about? Don't algorithms reward daily posting? Yes, but they really want engagements. So if you have one great post, that's going to beat 5 mediocre ones, right? So yes, you're going to be rewarded for frequent posting, but you can have really good ones. If you have one good post that everybody's engaging in, that's worth more. Won't people forget about me? People remember how you made them feel, not how often you posted. Nobody is sitting on Facebook or Instagram and saying, oh, she only posted 3 times this week. Nobody's paying attention to that. When you're in their feed, they're going to notice you, obviously, because you're there. But if you're not there every single day, when you do pop up, you're like, oh, I do like her. Let me see what she has to say. But successful person posts every day. That is a comparison trap. That successful person might have a content team. They might not have ADHD, or maybe they have ADHD, but they have better meds, or their brain is just different. You have no idea what they're working with. So stop comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel, because that's all you see is where they are on the surface. You don't know what's happening behind the screen. Here's how you know if you've got it right. You just need to ask yourself, can I maintain this pace for the next 6 months without burning out? Because your business needs to be here in 6 months, a year, 5 years. Burning out and disappearing for 3 months hurts your business way more than posting 3 times a week instead of daily. Slow, steady, and sustainable beats fast and flamed out every single time. So you need to find what your consistency looks like. So start here. Don't overhaul everything at once. First, notice your energy patterns. You're just noticing, that's it. You don't have to change anything. First, you have to figure out where your high energy is. Next, what's one thing that you can batch instead of making yourself do it daily? I'm at the point now in my business that I batch almost everything. I have a consistent batching schedule so that there is no point where I am like, oh man, I really got to do this one thing for today. I'm always working ahead so that I have breathing space. Give yourself permission to skip one day without guilt. This is practice skipping without the guilt spirals, to get you to the point that you're okay with not hitting something every single day without beating yourself up. Thank you so much for being here today. So I'd like, drop a comment. Let me know which part of this resonated with you. If you found this helpful, please share it with another neurodivergent entrepreneur who needs to hear it. And remember, you're not failing at consistency. You're just neurodivergent in a neurotypical system. Thank you again for being here. Go off and be sustainable.